Hey you guys, it's Braid. Tonight we're here with a bunch of Gypsy Rose and Ryan Anderson updates. I have quite a few clips from recent lives that they have both done that I would like to go over with y'all. There is some interesting stuff said in these, and as a way to keep the conversation going, because Gypsy Rose is messy and putting out a whole 3-ring circus, we're going to go ahead and react and have a conversation. So if you're interested, please keep watching. Alright you guys, so instead of splitting these up into multiple different videos, I figured it was time for a longer video for y'all. And yeah, so I think this video will probably be longer than kind of what I've been doing as of lately. Hopefully it's good for y'all, but we're going to start out with this clip that it says Ryan explains that he was not controlling Gypsy, just protective of her. And this is from one of his lives.
I'm going to talk about the PO call. Okay, I'm going to set up the scene. Now, this is not excuses. This is the truth. All right. The PO call. Yeah, get them. The PO call. All right. We had just went shoe shopping. All right. We had just left shoe shop. We didn't know we were being followed at that point. Like, me and Gypsy are on the way to meet her parents and everybody at the Airbnb in Kansas City. All right. We didn't know we were being followed at that point. Okay, so we get out, we go shoe shopping, and y'all seen the clips and everything. Me and Gypsy's just holding hands, walking, and they like, "What are y'all's hands?" And I said, "No, no," like that's just me not wanting to tell them anything. But anyway, all right, so we leave there, and we notice the caravan of 4 cars, and they are following us every move we make, every move. And we get back on the highway, and we're close to the Airbnb, and then I get a random call from this number I don't know, and then I get another call, and this one number calls me back like twice, like back to back. So then I was like, okay, it must be important. So I answer the phone, and the first thing the PO says, guys, the very first words out of this PO's mouth, he didn't say, "Hey, I'm so-and-so at so-and-so at the parole office." He said, "Where are you going? Where are you at?" And so of course I was like, what? I got mad about that. Like, we're being followed by paparazzi that we don't know. And the first question the PO says is, "Where are you going? Where are you at? Who are you with?" Okay. So, of course, me being a protective husband was like, what the hell? Like, so me thinking like, okay, this person behind us that's following us got our number. I don't know how. Like, I don't know how they do stuff like that. But, people have got my number, but it is what it is. But so my initial thought was I have to be protective. So I was protective at that moment. And then when I realized that we were actually talking to a legit PO, Gypsy said, "Stop." I stopped. I let her talk. But here's the thing about that, guys. I had already met, that's one reason I didn't trust this PO, is because I had already met her Louisiana PO. He'd already been to our house, already been to our place. I've been in contact with this guy. He knew our plans. Great guy. So I'm getting a phone call from this PO that we don't know, I have no contact with, and he is, so like, of course I go to defense mode. I try to protect my wife. I mean, if that's controlling, then so be it. But that was protective. So it is what it is. So if y'all think that's controlling, then sorry, but it wasn't, guys. I couldn't control Gypsy. If anybody knows Gypsy at all, they know that Gypsy does whatever she wants whenever she wants to do it.
Okay, so as far as him saying, you know, this is what happened, I don't know. Like, are there parole officers out there that would call and say, "Where are you? Who are you with?" Like, possibly, but at the same time, like, this is just his telling of the events, so I don't know. I mean, I don't trust Gypsy, but that's also not saying that I believe everything Ryan says, because I have trust issues with everybody on damn social media, especially somebody that would marry Gypsy Rose. Let's just be honest. I have sat in the middle with Ryan. I do think that he's been painted in a negative light unfairly. But there have been some things that he has said that are a little off-putting. But I don't know, like, how do y'all feel about that? Is it control? Is it being protective. Those two present completely differently to me. I think that most of us are here for being protective of our partners, our friends, our family, but there is also that other side of things where you can be controlling and just label it as being protective so that it's acceptable to people that are consuming the content. Tell me how you feel about that down below. This is from Ryan's Live, and the caption says, "When you know you got used, but you have to tell yourself otherwise."
Do I feel like she used me? Last night I said that. I'll never feel that. Sometimes I get moments in my head where I'm like, maybe she did, but I never feel that.
I think it's really obvious to most of us that have consumed a lot of the Gypsy Rose content that she absolutely used Ryan. She wanted to, in my opinion, allegedly present very steady and solid to the parole board, and she knew that being married and having somebody consistently in her life and a safe place to land when she was released would look very good for her. And I think that the one thing that's undeniable is Gypsy Rose is out for herself, nobody else, and she uses people as pawns to benefit her, and then she will discard them when she is done and or has something that she thinks is better ready and waiting for her. This caption says, "Ryan clears the air." This is again from one of his lives.
Because me and Gypsy already talked about it a bunch. So it's one of those. And then I saw people saying, when I left for work, I did see that clip where I left for work. And I said, "Gypsy, staying at home today." And she said, "Yep, staying here." That wasn't me saying, "You better stay at home." That was me saying, "You're not going anywhere. You're just going to stay here, huh?" And yeah, that's what she wanted to do that day. She knew she could have done anything she wanted to do. She had options. I put Uber on her phone with the PayPal. Like, no, I never said you can stay at the house and that's what you have.
I would think if he was being controlling, then his first thing wouldn't be to put Uber on her phone and link it to his PayPal. I don't know, did he do that as a way to be able to keep an eye on her? Did he do that so that she had a way to get out of the house during the day if she wanted to get out and he was just picking up the tab? How do y'all feel about that down below? I feel like the Uber thing and the saying, "Gypsy's staying at home today," that could be received in two different manners. It could be, "Oh, you're staying at home today," or it's like, "Oh, you're gonna stay home today." It's tomato tomato to me. But so this caption says, "Ryan says Ken wasn't the only ex Gypsy kept in touch with, and Christy never wanted Ryan and Gypsy to date."
Right? I think that's funny. That isn't the only ex she's ever kept in touch with, by the way, just for the record. Yeah, just so y'all know, that's not the only ex. Ken was not the only ex, but that's beside the point. Cowboy hat, thank you. I will not be one she keeps in touch with. I guarantee you, she did not want me with Gypsy at all. Period. Period.
I think it's very obvious that Christy was the one campaigning for Gypsy and Ken to reconcile and get back together. We have heard from numerous different accounts that she was advocating for this reconciliation to take place. And I think that, I don't know, like, how could you respect your stepmother or anyone in your family, for that matter, if they were doing these kinds of things when you were actively married? That to me is beyond trash behavior. This clip, Ryan calls Gypsy a bop. Oh boy.
Gypsy's live, and I'm not going to say her name anymore, but the girl, I need to call her something besides her name. But I've only ever called her pet names. I'm going to call her the bop. No, I'm just joking. That's a joke. I'm just a joke. Just a joke. I can say my ex. That's fine. My soon-to-be ex-wife. She, damn, I forgot what I was going to say.
But see, this is the whole thing. People get mad at Ryan for saying something like that, but you have to remember, Gypsy and Ken have gone out of their way to shove everything in Ryan's face during this separation that is going to lead to their divorce. So if Ryan's going to be snarky, I don't feel bad for Gypsy. I really don't, because she and Ken have gone out of their way, not only with Ryan, but also with other people. I think the Blanchard family is full of hypocritical bullies that want everyone to, you know, say nice things about Gypsy, but they're allowed to be toxic themselves. And it's such a fiasco watching all of this burn to the ground. Gypsy's release could have been filled with advocacy, positivity, awareness, and she could have had a really strong fan base to help her spread the message and do good things with your voice and your platform. But we've seen what she has done, and then you want to get mad at people who are calling it out? Never. Now we need to jump over to Gypsy's live that she did. This was a couple days ago, still really recent, and it says Gypsy gets emotional talking about Ryan on live.
Like, I don't know what to do at this point, and like, it made me sad that last night was like our 3rd year, like, anniversary of us, like, knowing each other, or like meeting in person and all that. I didn't remember that, so after that, I felt bad for answering him with, "Why are you calling me?" So that made me feel like a piece of shit. I try to be sensitive to him, I really do. And I mean, I wish him nothing but the best. I heard that he went out on a date, I guess. Good for him. I kept telling him for the longest time, go, like, get laid, do what you need to do to mend your heart. I'm all for it. And I'm totally fine with him doing lives. There's some things that I feel like, if you're gonna talk about your life, talk about your life. Don't talk about me. Talk about your hobbies. Talk about wrestling. Talk about what makes your heart tick. Like, make it your life. Don't make it all about me.
No, you don't, Gypsy. You don't get to tell somebody what they're allowed to talk about on live when you have done nothing but be shady, snarky, and cruel to him on your own platforms. You were his life. So, of course, he's going to talk about you. If people ask questions, he has every right to answer. And as a side note, obviously, Gypsy gets emotional, but again, we have emotions with no tears, which is just like her shtick. She's a manipulator. I don't appreciate when somebody tries to act as if someone just simply talking is doing them harm. I think what she's really afraid of is, I think she's afraid that Ryan he's already singing like a canary. I said that in my last video. I think she is afraid that if he continues to sing, there could be information that she really does not want out, released on one of his live streams. And she knows that people screen record and save and all of the things. And once it's said by him, it will spread like wildfire. And he obviously did not sign an NDA, which I'm sure they are kicking themselves in the ass for right now. But he is allowed to talk about his life with Gypsy. He's allowed to talk about his life without Gypsy. He's allowed to talk about whatever the fuck he wants to talk about. Gypsy Rose, like, you want to say Ryan was controlling you? Well, now you're trying to control what he says on his own social media. Miss me with that, please. And while you're at it, if you're gonna try to act emotional, at least learn how to cry. Back over to Ryan. This video says Ryan says he is not the reason Gypsy changed her number.
I'm just telling this story. I didn't like that live, like when she said it, like that she has to change her number because of me. It's bullshit. Number one, it's bullshit. Amazing. And yeah, Gypsy mentioned it live. I just saw a comment. Yeah, she blocked my cell phone number out of respect for Ken. I've already gone over that. Like, but she needs to realize, like, sometimes I still need to talk to her. Like, technically we still are married, but that's why I used a Google Voice number the first time and then my friend's phone the second time. Like, guys, that's in like a month and a half, guys. Like a month. Like, I don't like how she insinuated that I bother her every day and text her every day. That so far from the truth. So far from the truth. And I don't appreciate that that's how she insinuated it, that she's having to change her number because I'm stalking her. That's never been the case, and she knows that. Now, do I have moments where, you know, like last night when we argued, I did text after I made contact, but I mean, like, guys, I don't stalk her like that.
So here's my thing. My opinion on Ryan trying to contact Gypsy is that it should not be happening. I realize that it's really tough for him. I would leave everything up to his lawyers. Allow the lawyers to deal with it. Tell your story. You know, if you're on TikTok, like, he has a pretty big community now that listens to him, because they don't have kids. They don't really, like, and I realize it's really difficult, but that would be one less thing for Gypsy to be able to say, oh, well, he's stalking me, he's bothering me, he's texting me. And he would be able to back it up and say, no, actually, my lawyer is contacting your lawyer, and we're going to deal with this like adults. But again, that's just my opinion. And I think it's funny that she says, oh, I did this out of respect for Ken. You're respecting your home wrecker relationship rekindling with Ken more than you respected your marriage with Ryan. That should tell you everything you need to know about Gypsy Rose and her lack of morals. Alright, back over to Gypsy. This video says Gypsy speaks on why she said Ryan reminds her of her mom, Dee Dee.
A lot of the things that come up that are triggers for me is tied to my trauma, obviously. But we've been able to, like, nail down what really is some of those causes, and the root of it. So we know, like, people have different stages of their life that they grow from. So the way my therapist told me is that, like, my trauma, like, my most damaging trauma happened when I was, like, 9 or 10. And so that explains why my personality, when I react to something, I don't respond, I react. So when I am reacting to a situation, there is two, let's just say, ages. That's how she explained it to me. There's 2 ages that I am. Because when you have trauma, you are stunted at the point in which that trauma happened. And so for me, it was 10. So when I react to a situation that I am triggered by, my 10-year-old self reverts back to that mentality of a 10-year-old. So some of the things that I say and do reflect someone much younger than my 32-year-old self. With also that being said, some other traumas happened when I was 16. So when I am reacting to a situation under stress or I feel controlled, that defensive, snarky behavior that wants to clap back, that wants to defend myself, that wants to say something sarcastic, comes out at that time. So, you know, my therapist broke it down to where it's very enlightening of why in the show, like why Ryan and I would get into arguments, why I would say some of the things that I said to him. And it's because I'm reverting back to that mentality of that trauma. And so there was times that I told Ryan, like, you're acting like my mother, like, you control me, you're this, you're that. And yeah, I did call Ryan some things and point out those behaviors because I felt like those were triggering to me. So in the show, when I had grabbed my phone and we were arguing about me confiding in my sister about our sex life that wasn't going so well at the time, he got defensive, he started to argue with me, so I grabbed my phone and started recording. Because I knew in my head, I'm like, he acts one way behind closed doors, and then another way when there's a camera on him. So I'm going to grab this phone and I'm going to have this as proof that this is how he's behaving. So I expressed that at that time, I'm like, you're telling me I can't talk to my sister about adult things that are woman things that I don't really want to talk to Christy about it. I don't really want to talk to my dad about it. So I want to talk to my sister about it. So I felt like confiding in my sister about those kinds of things was okay. And it wasn't until like I got home and I started to tell him a little bit more, and he started to get angry. So I said, "You're being like my mom. Like, you are telling me to not talk to family. That's exactly what my mom did to me." And, you know, later in that week, I talked to my therapist about it. And I'm like, I said some things to Ryan in an argument. I feel bad for saying those things to him, because I know he doesn't want to come across that way. I know he doesn't want to be compared to my mom. So how do I explain to him that when I feel triggered or when I feel controlled, that when I say you're being like my mom, and how do I not make that an insult? And that's when she started to break it down for me, and the psychology behind that.
All right, so a few things to say about that little clip. That was a longer one, but what I want to know is, you obviously have so much healing left to do, and whether you want to blame it on trauma or talk about the microdeletion that I haven't even gone into on video, but no matter which thing you want to blame it on, how long can we expect this snarky, immature nonsense to continue before you actually heal yourself and then come back a better version of yourself? Because, you know, you would have thought that prison would have done that for Gypsy, but obviously she is still a hot train wreck that is just ruining anything that she comes in contact with. The second thing is, in my opinion, this is somebody that does not belong in a relationship. From Ken to Ryan, back to Ken, Gypsy Rose is somebody that does not belong in a relationship. She needs to be in a relationship with herself and with therapy. Because what's going on right now and the things that have happened over the past 6+ months since her release have been nothing short of embarrassing. And the other thing that I want to touch on really quick is I side with Ryan on her discussing their intimate part of their marriage on camera. It has nothing to do with your sister, your friend, your whatever. It has to do with it being filmed and put on television for the world to consume. There are certain conversations that do not belong on, you know, everyone's device and everyone's TV. Unless you have a conversation ahead of time with your partner to say, how do you feel about this conversation being part of the show? It's not that hard if you respect your relationship, your partner, and or your marriage. So this clip I saved, the caption says, Gypsy says her brother Dylan did not like the fact that Ken was texting her when she was with Ryan. I think I'm going to be on the brother side, but let's hear what Gypsy had to say.
Have I met my brother on my dad's side? Yeah, I've met Dylan. I texted him this morning. He came over a few weeks ago, and he got to meet Ken. I was nervous about my brother meeting Ken because, like, Mia finally got to meet Ken. My brother met Ken. They like him. They all give a thumbs up. I think Ken and my brother really hit it off. Like, getting, like, even though my brother is, like, younger, he's still, like, I feel like my younger sister and my younger brother take on them, like, that older sibling, protective vibe. So the fact that my brother gave the thumbs up, I'm like, thank God.
Number one, I didn't even know that she had a brother. Number two, if she does not stop that clicking sound, it makes me want to rip my eardrum out every single time she does it. And it's the motion that she makes with her mouth, and the sound just literally makes me want to break my damn computer. It really does. I cannot stand it. I don't know who taught her the click click sound, but they belong in prison, right along with Gypsy Rose.
Somebody sent me a post on TikTok saying something that Gypsy said on her Life with Gypsy Rose Facebook. Thank you for the hat. And it made me very angry. Made me very angry. So angry that I decided to use my friend's phone to call Gypsy. It's a bad idea. Shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have done it. I did it, and I confronted her about it, and she said that was a fake account. That's not her. She said it's a hate group account. So those are the ones that's, I think, has been putting the prints into a frog thing. It might not be. It might be her doing that too. But so I confronted her, and then she said it wasn't her. So and then I said, okay, cool. And I said, because I don't say anything negative about you. And sent the duck. Thank you, Carolyn. And so she said it wasn't her. So I said, okay, cool. And then I said, how are you doing? Because I haven't really talked to her since the show come on, really. And she hung up on me. You know, she was like, I'm eating dinner, I'll hang up. And she hung up on me. And I was kind of like, whoa. All right. So then we had an disagreement on text. And we had a disagreement on text. And next thing you know, I started arguing with Ken over text. Like, why would he grab her phone, number one? So I thought that was odd. So me and him had an argument over text, and then it would go back and forth between him and Gypsy. So I didn't know who I was talking to. So I regret that. I shouldn't have got an argument with them like that. I don't regret things I said because I was just telling it like it is, but I shouldn't have done that. Hey, Rashad from 6th grade, how you doing? Quit texting me when I'm on a live. What's up, Rashad? How you doing? So I shouldn't have done that. So just gonna say, sorry, Gypsy, for getting an argument with your boyfriend over text. Stupid. And I shouldn't have done that. So, anyway.
Gypsy wanted to say that Ryan was controlling. Now she's with Ken, who is grabbing phones and overly involved in so many things to do with Gypsy. But, so does that mean when her and Ken break up, because they absolutely will at some point, then she's going to come back and say, oh my God, Ken was so controlling. He was grabbing my phone and involved in controlling whatever, blah, blah, blah. Is that just the cycle so that she can continue to manipulate people to feel bad for her? And it's always poor little Gypsy. Gypsy Rose is a hot damn mess. Ryan, in my opinion, and this is obviously unsolicited advice, 100%, he needs to stop talking to her. Like I said earlier, allow the lawyers to run the show from now on. Because Gypsy is immature, she's manipulative, and Ryan is somebody who is obviously very hurt by the, events that led us to where we are now. It would be better for both of them to just stop. This is another clip from a live that Ryan did, and it says, Ryan says Gypsy cheated on him and that she may be cute and sweet, but y'all don't know her. I actually don't think that she's cute or sweet, but let's hear what this clip is about.
She humiliated and disrespectful to me. No comment. Yeah, like guys, I see all this stuff. I didn't trust her, that's why. Well, guys, do y'all realize that she was cheating on me? I mean, I didn't say quit texting Ken. Guys, y'all were not in our relationship. So I love when I get comments of like, you were controlling as hell for saying this one comment. Guys, y'all don't know Gypsy like I know Gypsy. Gypsy's sweet and great, but y'all don't know her. Like, I mean, Gypsy's great though, but y'all don't know what it's like to be with her.
How can you call her cute and sweet when she literally used Nicholas Godejohn to murder her mother. There is nothing cute or sweet about Gypsy, and there never has been. And Ryan knew who she was when he walked into putting himself in the shoes of, I'm going to send her a letter. He knew it back then. It was wrong. She wasn't cute back then. She's not cute now. She is a manipulative criminal. This clip says Ryan says he would remarry if he found the right one, and that if he saw Ken right now, he wouldn't hold his composure.
I would remarry if I found the right girl. Now, me and Gypsy always talked about how we would never marry another person because we have each other. So that's something I'm going to have to get over. So, how are you strong? Guys, I don't know. Like, I want to break down on days. I want to cry. I want to fight. I want to, you know, when I say, like, Ken doesn't want to meet me in public, I mean that. Like, I don't think I could hold my composure. But I have to be the bigger man. I am the bigger man. Look at me, I'm the bigger man. No, I have to take the high road, guys. My mother always told me to take the high road.
What happened with him and Gypsy, I would hope it wouldn't ruin his future relationships, because I don't think that Ryan is an awful guy. I don't think that he's evil, hateful, cruel. I don't think that he's any of those. I do think that he has his flaws, but he should go on to have a healthy, functioning relationship. I would hope that for him. Here's Gypsy and Ken laying in bed talking about how Ryan called her a bop. And then the other clip is someone asks for Ryan's number and things get awkward. So let's watch these two, and then we have a couple more. We're almost at the end.
See, a lot of bop.
Yeah, she's been with 2 whole people. Crazy.
I'm such a bop.
2 whole people.
2 whole people since I've been out of prison.
Yeah.
2 whole people in less than 6 months, and one of them you cheated on when you were actively married to him. My God, someone take the trash to the curb, please.
So someone said, give Ryan my number. Well, why don't you give him your number? Message him. All the single ladies, message him. Help my ex out, guys. Make it rain phone numbers for him. Was that cheesy?
No comment on that.
I hope that Ken is paying really close attention to how Gypsy is handling this situation with Ryan, because in a matter of time, he is going to be in Ryan's shoes. And she will be trying to paint him as enemy number 1. And, oh, Ken was so bad, and Ken did this, and Ken did that. So, I hope he enjoys being snarky and doing fridge tours and all of this nonsense that he's participating in alongside Gypsy, because one day he will be in the shoes that Ryan Anderson is in now. So this video, Gypsy says that just because she was unfaithful in her marriage doesn't mean that she isn't a loyal person, and mentions how she helped a friend through a tough time and stayed up till midnight helping this friend. Oh my God, you guys, midnight. She stayed up till midnight to help her friend. Let's go ahead and give her, you know, a gold-plated trophy and a box of cookies.
I know, and I, said loyal. I know. I'm a loyal friend. Just because I wasn't loyal to my marriage doesn't make me not loyal. I think you can ask any of my friends. I have really good friends. I might have stayed up past midnight because one of my friends was having a crisis. Stayed up with her.
Okay, so your loyal friend, because you stayed up past midnight helping somebody. You weren't a loyal wife. You were not a loyal daughter. You were not a loyal anything that is worth any type of respect. You want to talk about staying up past midnight. Gypsy Rose, please. There's also another clip that's going around that shows Ryan getting very emotional and actually crying on a live stream. But in that same clip that's going around, he did say, I don't want to cry on the internet. He, you know, kind of like points his phone away from his face and says that he doesn't want those clips floating around. So I'm not going to include that in this video, but if y'all want to seek it out, you can. But he did show genuine emotion, genuine tears, and it's really tough. You know, I just couldn't imagine building a relationship with somebody, getting married to them, planning my whole life, designing my home and my schedule and everything around them being released and coming home so that we can have this hopefully pretty decent marriage and start to build a life together, and then to have everything just become the biggest train wreck that you could ever imagine, and then have your current wife flaunting it on social media and being messy while millions of people are encouraging and giving her a round of applause. I just don't even know like where to begin with that. And yeah, it's a hot mess, but we're here to talk about it. So that's going to be it for today. Of course, there will be more coming, but for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.